Hi, I'm Dalton Labar, and for my Orgo 1 honors option project, I decided to learn about thalidomide and its history from tragedy to treatment. So first, some historical background. So thalidomide was developed by uh, CIBA in 1953, and it was marketed as a sedative under the name Countergen. It was promoted as safe and non-addictive, although it had not gone through a lot of testing on humans. It became popular for morning sickness due to its availability and low cost, but that's where the tragic impact came in. In 1961, Dr. McBride from Australia and Dr. Lenz linked thalidomide to severe birth defects, leading to its withdrawal from the market worldwide. So it almost came to America too, but due to Dr. Kelsey, an FDA officer, it was stopped. She prevented its approval due to insufficient safety data and emerging reports of neurotoxicity, and she likely prevented a major tragedy in the U.S. And seen up in the top right corner with JFK receiving praise for her job. And then the legacy of thalidomide. It's estimated that 10,000 infants worldwide were affected by the drug. And this tragedy led to significant changes in drug safety regulations and testing procedures. So, starting off with the structure, thalidomide is an organic molecule with the chemical formula C13H10N2O4. As you can see in the top right, it has a chiral center um, at that carbon that's connected to the nitrogen, which is why there's the wedge there. So there are two enantiomers that exist, the R enantiomer and the S enantiomer, and they have different biological activities, with the S enantiomer being associated with birth defects, um, which is humorous because S means sinister or left. Um, then we have the functional groups. So the molecule has two amides, which is that group, that which is that group with the nitrogen between the two double bonded uh, carbon and oxygens. And then it also has an aromatic ring, which is that benzene ring on the left. Again, it has chirality, which is what led to its um, different effects and therefore um, the birth defects. And then finally, its molecular geometry. Its geometry is affected by the arrangement of its rings and functional groups, which is what gives rise to its pharmaceutical properties. Next, stereochemistry. So again, thalidomide um, is a racemic mixture of both the R plus and S minus enantiomers, meaning it contains an equal part of both of the mirror image forms, as you can see in the top right. Another way of showing the difference between these would be changing the wedge on the nitrogen to a dash and the dash on the hydrogen to a wedge. So the S minus enantiomer inhibits inflammation, and the R plus enantiomer is associated with its sedative effects, which is what it was originally marketed for. And then it converts very quickly between each enantiomer under normal body conditions, which makes kind of the difference, or yeah, the differences between these irrelevant, as if you're taking thalidomide, you're going to be getting both enantiomers interacting with your body. And then finally, for metabolism, it undergoes hydrolysis, um, which is likely due to active metabolites, explaining the species-specific effects of the drug, meaning each enantiomer has its own effects due to active metabolites. Next is the mechanism of action, as shown on the right. So it has um, three effects. It's immunomodularity and anti-inflammatory effects coming from the S enantiomer. So thalidomide inhibits a key regulator of inflammation and reduces production of an inflammatory cytokine activator, cytokine, and reduces production of an inflammatory activator. It stimulates T cell proliferation and shifts helper T cells responses. Um, and then the S minus, or yeah, the S minus enantiomer is responsible for the anti-angiogenic properties, which means it's inhibiting the growth of new blood vessels, which is how it is effective against things such as cancer. Next is the birth defects. In early pregnancy, it causes severe impairments, as seen in the images. There's limb differences, which is the most prominent effect, leading to smaller arms, and then there's sight and hearing losses, facial paralysis, and then internal organ impact. And next is the revival of thalidomide. So after it was taken off, um, it was still it was still around illegally in many developing countries. So in 1964, Dr. Jacob Sheshkin prescribed thalidomide as a sedative for a patient with a type of leprosy. And then he observed a dramatic resolution to the patient's skin. This effect was later confirmed at a World Health Organization trial, which validated thalidomide's usage in treating ENL. Then there's FDA support and research following its success with this type of leprosy. Thalidomide was supported on experimental basis for various like skin and inflammatory conditions. So it was researched for conditions such as sarcoidosis, uh, sarcoidosis, cutaneous lupus, um, inflammatory bowel disease, ankylosing spondylitis, and rheumatoid arthritis. So the unregulated distribution of thalidomide led to the formation of drug buyer clubs in major cities, particularly in Brazil, where it remained available. The situation prompted the FDA to solicit drug applications from companies who wanted to study thalidomide, uh, leading to the Celgene Corporation gaining approval to market the drug. And in 1998, the FDA officially approved thalidomide for specific uses, such as ENL. So that takes us to contemporary uses. So it's used as a treatment for multiple myeloma. In 2006, thalidomide was approved as one of the first new agents in over 10 years for treating plasma cell myeloma, which is a type of bone marrow cancer due to its angiogenesis effects. Um, yeah, its anti-angiogenic properties helped to prevent metastasis, which is cancer going between different organs, growth and hypervascularity of tumors. And then there's the treatment of leprosy, as discussed earlier. Thalidomide is prescribed for treating ENL, which is an immunological condition affecting 50% of patients with uh, lepromatous leprosy. ENL is characterized by conditions such as neuritis, orchitis, lymphadenitis and eye inflammation, all of those, as seen through the itis ending, they're all types of inflammation, which thalidomide, as stated earlier, is good at dealing with due to its anti-inflammatory effects. In a conclusion, despite its resurgence, the history of thalidomide underscores the critical importance of understanding the complex mechanisms of drug action and the potential risks associated with their use. Rigorous research, careful monitoring, and responsible regulation are essential to ensure the safe and effective application of drugs. And here are my references.